Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of 7 Days to Die, where we're going to continue building our Horde base. And if you remember from last time, we did the central pillar basically, and this is going to expand out a little bit more than what it is now, because we don't really want it held together by just a 9x9, sorry, a 3x3. 9 blocks wide. It's just not going to cut it. We're going to need a lot more support, but right now I want to kind of plan out the ledge area that we've got. Now, the only downside to this, as I mentioned earlier, is the water. So I'm not really sure how it's going to affect it. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go a couple of blocks down. Probably 3 or 4. Should we go 4 blocks down, I think. And that's going to be my top of my base, I think. And I'll explain why in a moment, because basically that's where it's going to kind of level off. And I may actually level it just as is. I don't know yet. Let's have a look. No, we'll go. Just go. Yeah, we'll go 2. Yeah, that'll be fine. 3 down. So from here, I obviously need to start getting the ramp system. Now, the ramp's going to go from the bottom up, obviously, but what I want to try and do is, obviously, I don't want to dig out all the ground underneath, because realistically, well, they're going to be, what we're going to do is we're going to basically place 2 blocks underneath and then the ramp. Because if they're going to blow up 2 blocks and a ramp piece, then they were already tough to begin with, so you know, most of the time they only take out the 1, maybe 2 blocks. But the plan is for them to not take out any of the blocks, obviously. But they're likely to take out blocks, unfortunately. So let's just go ahead and measure ourselves up here, so we can see what we're actually doing. Go. Just go all the way out. Go. Right. So this is kind of where my ramp system's going to obviously stem out from. We're going to want it probably 5 wide, so we can give people a chance to, you know, shoot down the zombies and not in too narrow a corridor. Because I think saying that 5 might be a little too wide. Let's have a look at. I think 3 is going to be too narrow though, really. You may be thinking, what the hell are you on about? Well, the plan is to basically have it where the zombies are coming down the ramp, and then everywhere else that they can come from is going to be so overly protected that they're not going to go that way. The only downside, obviously, is we may make it a little too hard for them. They may choose to come that way anyway, so we'll see. It's a new theory I'm testing. The mapping should work. The kind of pathing system should work. Yeah, I don't know. Kind of feel like 5 wide is going to be way too much. Have a look from this angle. It gives people a chance to shoot down here, I guess, because there could be more than 1 person down. So we'll continue with the 5 wide and we'll see how it goes. Okay. Drop down here. Like so. Oh, I think I've gone 1 too low. I think it's going to go all the way down anyway. Okay. That being done. Plonk a block there. I'm going to get myself down. I'm going to go all the way down. I'll take too many blocks out because I'll end up breaking a leg, as per usual. Now, the only downside we're going to have here is we're going to have to build it in such a way where there's going to be like a gap underneath where I'm digging down to, because if I dig blindly, The likelihood is that I'm going to dig too far down, which means then I'm going to have to stock it all back up, and it's just more hassle than what we need. So let's not do that. Let's just repair it so it's ready to go. Okay, there we go. Right, so I'm going to dig out a few things. I'm going to time lapse it, and then I'm going to come back and explain what I've done, and then we'll see from there. So see you shortly. Welcome back, everybody. And as you saw in that little bit of a time lapse, there is we've built all the way down now. So if we head on down here, you can see that we have completely gone down. Now it's not going to remain like this for the area that I've done. However, I want to replace it all with concrete anyway, so it needs to be done. It also gives us a little bit more lighting, as you can see, and as you saw during the time lapse, it does get a little bit dark in here. So if we continue to just do a little bit at a time and then it'll light in, and then we go into it like that, then we should be able to see ourselves working a bit of a pattern and actually be able to see what we're doing. And I also noticed we've landed ourselves with some nitrate and some lead as well. Now, two things that one, a positive that we've got lead and nitrate, which will be good for the community, because you may have noticed I've now got concrete blocks, and I certainly don't have the skills to do concrete. I have not got anywhere near that. I'm still working on -69 and Mother Load, and the reason why I'm working on them two is because the more I do this, the more I can give back to the community in ways of resources. Because obviously, right now they're providing me with a lot of things that are useful. The concrete blocks for starters, the wood when they helped me with the base, with the bridge. A lot of people contributed a lot of stuff to the bridge in ways of resources. So my way of returning that now is obviously coming back with the stone, whatever little bit of clay I get, and anything like, we got coal out of that, lead, and we obviously got nitrate as well. So all them things can go into the community base. Now that's the positive. The negative is if I continue to build underneath here, likelihood is this is going to collapse. Now, again, a positive and negative to that. A positive is it'll create a giant hole, and I don't have to dig it all out. That's a good thing. A bad thing is we'll probably lose about 80% of the resources that come out of that. So I've just got to be careful when I come to digging this out. But hopefully we'll not be. So that's the idea, and as you can see here where we place these here. Now I've kept the same pattern where there's 2 blocks underneath, and then you put the 1 block here. Now the idea is all of these wooden frame blocks here will be replaced by the concrete blocks, and we'll go ahead and we'll start doing that now, because I kind of know where we're going here. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to drop myself back down to the bedrock area, and I'm going to go along collecting all of these. Now you may think, hey, it's a waste of time doing this. Why don't you just use concrete? 2 reasons. For one, concrete is expensive. Number 2, I can't see what I'm actually going to plan to do. Like on here, there's no way of me being able to plan it before I build it. This is kind of the middle ground using wooden frame blocks. Now, that doesn't mean I'm going to build the entire base with wooden frame blocks first and then start replacing it all with the concrete. What it means is that I'm actually going to start looking at the main bits that I'm doing here with the ramp and stuff like that, using the wooden frame blocks. And then once I'm satisfied things are going to work and things are going to start looking a bit, like I want it to, then I'll start doing it with just normal blocks. The problem with these is once you've placed it down, there's no way of getting it back again. So even though I kind of know what I want to do, I don't want to lose resources for no reason whatsoever. Now I do have some torches, which I'm going to plop down a couple of them here, just so that when it's night time, place up. But I'm hoping with digging out the area above, we're going to hopefully have it where we can see what we're doing. You'll also notice as well, because I haven't cleared this too much, that when I actually mined down and broke through there, I didn't injure myself. Just be wary of that if you are working with like your project underneath. Just be wary of the drop. Don't drill yourself up as much as possible, because you can start injuring. One other thing to remember as well, if I continue digging this tunnel here, I risk, certainly if it's going to be 5 wide, at the moment it's only really 2 wide. I know we've planned for the 5 wide, However, if we did 5 wide, the likelihood is this will probably start to collapse. Definite areas around here. This stuff here. Look how weak it is. That there will collapse. Shadow of a doubt. So just bear that in mind if you're going to do something like that. So yeah, so that's the plan. Let's go ahead and see what we'll do. We'll get the next layer in, and then we can let that all dry whilst we move on to expanding it. I just go a little bit too far. I did. Now you can see now because it's either getting a little bit darker outside. It's only 2 o'clock unless the weather's turned. As you see, because we've got the dark concrete and there's not much lighting, it's just really hard to see. We want to try and work on a level ground as much as possible. There we go. Now that'll start drying off. Hopefully we will have something to work with. Change that one there. That one there. Okay, so this is going to be the start of the ramp. Obviously, we're going to have the next pieces here. Again, keeping 2 underneath. I remove here. Remember that there's an extra block underneath there. Technically, in parts of it, it's actually 3 rather. Just see that the look we're going for. So there's the ramp there. So this is going to be the ramp going up. As you can see, I know it's a little dark and I apologize. See, it's quite a steady ramp. So the zombies are going to come down here. And then at the end of here, there's going to be an open way here. And this bit, it'll probably go, how far do I want them to run? So this will probably be where the bars are. So there's literally going to be 2 layers of bars here between them and the zombies. I say them, it's the other people, the other players. 2 bars. That makes it the weakest point on the base completely. The only downside to it is if I don't design top section good enough, they're just going to drop down and beat the bar and kill everything, and we're not going to get the effect we want. What we want them to do is to be running down, because whilst they are probably about 4 layers up, they're going to be able to see them and shoot them. We'll also have opportunity for turrets and stuff like that, probably built into the walls, but we'll have a look at that at a later stage. Traps, stuff like that. I'm going to include some traps and stuff into this build this time. I try to avoid using them as much as possible, but we will look into them. Certainly look into things like mines. What else can we put in there? Mines and explosives. Anything that goes boom, basically. Molotovs. We'll probably have like a Molotov throwing area, which would be, so there'll be this layer here, and then there'll be a layer above. And that layer above will have no bars on it whatsoever, apart from like it'll have like a walkway, so people can walk up to it and not fall off it. And then they can throw Molotovs out and grenades and stuff like that, and there's no risk of it bouncing back in and burning people, because that is notorious on the server apparently. People like to throw Molotovs at them. But that's going to be us for this episode. I just wanted to kind of lay out the first bit and what we're going to be doing, the kind of plans ahead, and the thought process behind what we're doing. And I'm going to keep a lot of this, you know, explaining what I'm doing and reason why. So if you come to build something like this yourself, or at least something similar, or you're trying to copy it or anything like that, then you'll at least know why I've done things and my reasoning behind it. Because some of the things may be a little bit like, oh, why are you doing that kind of. So this is what we're going to do. Remember, this is a completely new design that I've decided to do. It's not been tested or anything like that, so you know we may have to do some tweaking towards the end. But following what I've done in the past, this I'm hoping will have a happy medium. But until next time, everybody, take care for now. I shall see you on the next one.